Dr. Carolyn Dean Live here again on YouTube. Carolyn?
Yes, hello.
Oh, hi. Okay, you were going like this, and I didn't know if you couldn't hear or if everything's okay.
Yep.
Okay, very good. Welcome, everybody, tonight. Dr. Carolyn Dean Live here on YouTube, and also want to welcome you to our new format. We're very excited about it. We're broadcasting here on YouTube and also different social media channels around the world coming up anytime soon. Tonight, be sure to say hi to Sarah Ellis. She's our customer service manager. She is on the line and on the chat tonight to talk with you and answer questions with you. She is taking Melody Rose's place this evening. And of course, we have with us the inimitable, the most amazing, the absolutely delightful, the totally incredible Dr. Carolyn Dean. Hey, Carolyn.
Hey, Jenny, thank you for the boisterous introduction. I'm staring over at my picture, the permanent picture, and I think, what have I done to my hair that's different? But do people know, Jenny, that I cut my own hair? Do they know
I
that?
don't promote that information, no.
Oh, okay. So let's move on to health instead of hairdressing.
There you go. There you go. Tonight, we're going to be talking about all Dr. Dean's favorite subjects, which, of course, is natural medicine. She is, of course, an MD with over 50 years of credentials all over the world, actually. And she's also an ND, which is a naturopathic doctor. And that means, or a naturopath doctor. And what that means is that she relies on nature. And it's funny because we're from nature too. So it kind of makes sense she would rely on that to help diagnose and to help understand the body's symptoms and possibly reveal what might be wrong. And many times it's a nutrient deficiency. We talk about that tonight on the radio show, along with her incredible book library. Make America Healthy Again. We're getting closer and closer every day to being able to make America healthy again, as Carolyn has been doing, but this way. And you talk about boisterous. This is a very boisterous way to do it by getting the government involved for once. So that's going to be fun. And then we talk about all Carolyn's favorite pet peeves, topics. We take your questions through the chat line tonight. And so without further ado, Carolyn, let's get moving.
Right. So we start off with the library and it's a new book today. It's just been published. It's called Death by Modern Medicine. So I say, I wrote it, in the deep dark days of actually being in Europe at the Codex Alimentarius 2004, 2005, where the World Health Organization and the World Trade Organization, they were trying to standardize dietary supplements that were allowed to cross borders. So that's how they talked about it. If you want to sell something into another country, it all has to be standardized. But what was underneath that whole premise was that they wanted to make dietary supplements synthetic and low potency. And their stated goal, and it was said in these meetings, was to not let these dietary supplements interfere with drugs.
Yeah.
So, I mean, my head was exploding the whole time I was there. They were also standardizing the amount of toxins and chemicals and, I guess, plastics, what could be allowed in food. So they were allowing the maximum amount of toxins in food and the minimum amount of dietary supplements. So right in the middle of it was the Bonn, Germany meeting, I started writing Death by Modern Medicine because I knew we were toast. We were totally toast. So,
okay, when you say totally toast, for people who possibly never heard you speak before, tell us what you mean, totally toast.
Totally toast. Well, just because they were trying to standardize supplements to be sublimated to drugs, they were letting the world know that drugs were the most important thing. Dietary supplements were not to interfere with drugs. So they would be sidelined, pushed aside. And ever since in America, they've been trying to control dietary supplements and put them under a drug category. For example, Canada succumbed to that. New Zealand, maybe Australia, but New Zealand and Canada said, oh, well, we'll make them drugs ourselves. So Canada shut down their whole dietary supplement industry and just allowed people who could pay the $10,000 to get your one dietary supplement through the bureaucracy. So they essentially scuttled the whole dietary supplement industry. So I had no idea in 2005 that I would create a dietary supplement company. I had to, because I couldn't get anyone to make a non-laxative magnesium. So what I was able to do, and that was, what was it, Ginny? 2010 or 12 or something.
Well, 2012.
So 2012, I put all the information I knew from my 45 or so years in natural medicine. I put it all together, all low potency, organic, highly absorbed, and supposedly we're safe. We're, when the drug companies get control of dietary supplements, we'll be in the category of being grandfathered. So all that, I mean, it's like we live our lives, everything we learn comes to play at some point, and we put it all together. So what Death by Modern Medicine is today is the third edition. I wrote it, excuse me, in 2005. I updated it in 2017 and maybe 2014. But then right now, 2024, what we had to do was remove any mention of my dietary supplements.
Right.
I'm not allowed to flash my supplements on this show. And I'll tell you, every time the FDA likes it when I do that, because it shows how powerful they are, that they can muzzle me. So with Death by Modern Medicine, you get the groundwork of how we got to be eating ultra processed foods and taking so many drugs, and how 70% of the US population is overweight, and how 70% of the population is on at least one prescription medicine. And there are 15 chapters. We'll get to the blog that is about Death by Modern Medicine in a minute, but that's the book. Ginny, have you read it lately?
I have read all the updates, and I think it's a phenomenal book. And one of the things that you say in the book is that you're surprised that the book is still necessary.
Right. Yeah, back in 2005, one of the things I did was list the iatrogenic deaths. Iatrogenic means caused by medicine. It's like overdoses of prescription drugs, or getting an infection in the hospital, them doing surgery on the wrong side. I counted up out of government databases 750,000 deaths caused by allopathic medicine, statistically. By 2017, that had gotten to 1 million deaths. I don't know where they are now. So it's getting worse and worse and worse. And even in the 2000, where was it? Yeah, 2005, I talked about a New England Journal of Medicine article that was written in 1998 that showed 106,000 people die of iatrogenic medicine. I think, it was drug. It was prescription drug deaths. There were 2.5 million hospitalizations due to prescription drugs, and 106,000 people died. Nobody heard about that.
Right.
1998. They have had a long time to figure out how to reverse that, but it's only gotten worse. So that's what Maha and the the people around RFK Jr. are talking about. And I guess I'm saying, well, yeah, I've been talking about this since 2005 when I wrote the first edition.
I thought one of the things that was so cool, I don't think it was, I'm not saying you're wrong. I'm just saying it was not as noticeable. Let me put it that way. Before COVID was your chapter on death by character assassination.
Right. Yeah, well, I've been through it, so I know what it's like, and I know that's the way they try to stranglehold us. I mean, that's what the FDA is doing now to me and our company by saying you can't say that your dietary supplements help disease, because they say the words are still ringing in my ears from one telephone conversation that, well, only drugs cure disease. So if you say that your dietary supplements cure disease, you're saying it's a drug. And if you're saying that, you have to do a $1 billion drug study. And I'd probably say that every week now, but it's still, drives people crazy that that's the regime that we're under, and hopefully it will change.
Yes. Now, also, let me say, Carolyn, here's the other thing. When they said you had to do the drug study, I remember this part of the conversation, which was they wanted us to declare a disease. And at the time, we had gotten busted for heart-related stuff. And what you said was, so if I say this does this, they said that's all you can say. That's all you can say. And you said, well, I don't want to limit my product to just this when magnesium does all of this, right? And so that's another part of what they can do, is really pigeonhole you and limit you with your
Right.
products and with the public's awareness of what, for example, stabilized ions of magnesium in a picometer form can do throughout the whole body. They just wanted us to say this one thing.
Yeah, making dietary supplements into a drug, which is just their whole mindset. But Ginny, I don't know if you remember the other thing I said. What about my First Amendment rights?
Yes. Now we know how funny that is, right?
Yeah.
Even worse. I mean, now everybody knows how funny that is. That was just not all of us in the call. Yeah, it was something else, but we have done well. We're still here, and you're still talking about it and making the public aware that, they need to be aware when they're engaging with the entire medical community.
Mm-hmm. Yes, and that's the pressure that doctors in clinics are under. They're not going to get their salary if they don't toe the
Correct.
line. And
Correct.
that's what we're up against. That's what our customers are up against, because we still want to go to a doctor for a diagnosis and maybe a treatment, but you have to be well aware that they're in the business of medicine. And actually, one of my articles will get at that. But let's jump to this week's blog. It's kind of a mild title. It is about the death by modern medicine. And the title of the blog in drcarolyndean.com, in our article section at the bottom of the first page, getting healthy can be easier than you think. And the points I make are about the toxicity of our air, water, food, the unhealthy GMOs, the gluten intolerance, heavy metal overload, endless prescriptions contributing to chronic illness. And then I talk about how I cope with all this devastating medical news by spreading the word. And I'm grateful to have this forum to be able to get this information out there. So I've talked about the book, and in the article I mention it, and even how in naturopathic medicine, I'm a medical doctor and a naturopath, but in my medical practice, I kind of did naturopathic things because it was common sense. But in the naturopathic world, I see increasingly prescriptive practices. Um, you've got a symptom. Here's a list of supplements you should take. And we've had customers coming to us on like 100 pills a day from their
Yeah.
naturopaths and nutritionists. And the naturopathic doctors do a lot of testing. They'll do, excuse me, allergy testing, gut testing, very expensive testing, as if that's going to help us. But it's mimicking the allopathic testing where they make a lot of money off testing. And I don't say this in the article, but see, what we do is just from the knowledge that about 80% of people are not getting even the low RDA of, say, magnesium. And then if you read any studies about minerals, oh yeah, we're low in this, we're low. I just say, okay, the soil is empty, you're low in everything. Take this multiple, take this picometer multiple. And it's low dose, low potency. Nobody can argue with it being, oh, it's too much. Well, people build up. And that's what we're looking at, is building up people on the cellular level from the ground up. If you got healthy cells, you have healthy tissues, et cetera, et cetera. So that's all we're doing. Common sense. I mean, if someone is having problems eating foods, well, go on a rotation diet. Don't go to a doctor who will charge $1,000 for food allergy testing,
Mm.
because most of that is a leaky gut caused by yeast overgrowth. The yeast are caused by taking antibiotics or eating a lot of sugar. So you kind of have to go back and realize, oh, this is at the basis, okay. But if you're just treating the end result, you're just going to be, following along, whack-a-mole on your symptoms. So then I end the article by saying that lifestyle and nutrient approaches using bioavailable minerals, food-based vitamins can, in many cases, effectively treat the majority of modern-day chronic diseases. So this third edition of Death by Modern Medicine is my ultimate argument for why you have to take charge of your own health and well-being. And then I tell you to stay tuned for the release of this book. Well, it's out, right, Ginny? It's on Amazon.
It's out, and it's on your website at drcarolyndean.com. It's right on the publication page. You can go there right now and download a copy or get the link to Amazon. Of course, you can scan the QR code here now.
Right. And what is the price of Death by Modern Medicine, Ginny?
I think it's 99 cents.
Right.
$1.99. Something very affordable. It's a 4,000 page long book. No, I'm just kidding. It's a very big book, though, Carolyn. It's big.
I know it's 800 or 900 pages.
Yes,
But I mean, getting it as a Kindle copy, you can search it. If you have a question, just search the whole copy. 99 cents. We have to charge for it because we use it in so many other ways. I think people who sell get the free books on Amazon under Amazon Prime, it's because that's the only place where you'll see it. But it's our book. We'll keep it.
I'm opening it now, Carolyn, to see how much it is on Amazon. And but I think we only make them 99 cents. Yeah, it's only 99 cents on Kindle. And the reason why is because we have to charge something, and that's the least we can charge. Because I know you like your library to be at no charge for the public. That's part of your public service. So if it's on our website, drcarolyndean.com, you can get it for free. But if you want to have it in your Kindle so you can word search it like Carolyn talks about, or if you want to share it with friends, certainly, then you can go to Amazon as well, 99 cents. Such a deal.
The next topic, I mean, we do some basic things. we're big on the MAHA agenda, and there are 14 parts to the MAHA agenda that our team decided were the most important and were what we're already doing. And we're on number 6, and it's patient empowerment and shared decision making. So yeah, this would be nice, but probably 75% of patients and even our customers will say that their doctor makes it completely clear that she or he wants to be completely in charge. And we've heard stories that would curl your toes in customer service of how doctors treat their patients who ask too many questions or question their recommendations. So I guess at this point, I just say to people, in terms of how to deal with your doctor, just be respectful and find out what they have to say, and try not to get too brainwashed about, well, you have, because if they say, well, you have a 10% chance of having the C word, and you'll just block that out. You know, or if we do some more tests, maybe we'll really find something. So be careful about that approach, because they make a lot of money on their tests. So I don't know, patient empowerment, that's what we're trying to give you here. Patient empowerment means you have choices. You have something you can do to stay healthy. And what are we saying? Drink water with sea salt, walk, smile, hug people, get get
Yes.
get your exercise, get your social contact, and then take your dietary supplements that are going to help build your cells and to detoxify your body. All those things that you've heard about, that detox on a weekend and you'll be fine. No, you detox every day with the vitamins and minerals that do the detoxification. That's your methylated B's, your magnesium, your antioxidants. I mean, it's basic stuff. What we say all day and every day is most of the symptoms that people have are from lack of taking enough magnesium
Mm, right.
that is necessary to work 80% of known metabolic functions in your body. And when you hear that, it's like, oh, 80% of my body needs magnesium. Oh my gosh, I'm hardly taking enough. And that's our quote problem with our customers. And when they'll say, well, I'm taking half a teaspoon of your liquid picometer stabilized ion of magnesium, and I still have some symptoms. And with half a teaspoon, that's 150 milligrams. We want 600 milligrams. Usually I'm on a 450 milligrams, but I had to take 1,200 milligrams for about a year to get there. Ginny, comments?
I think one of the things I'd like to share again, if you're new to our show, is that Dr. Dean is also a great source of information. I've learned so much about just what it takes to go to the doctor's office, to ask about what kind of things they're going to use if you need surgery. Now, I haven't needed surgery, but I've had friends who've needed surgery, and avoiding fluoride anesthetics and that kind of thing. How to do follow up, how to read labels of drugs and ask for a different kind of drug. For example, Cipro is not a positive drug, it has a black box warning on it. How to get a different kind, a comparable drug that doesn't pose the same risk. So all these things are things that Carolyn has shared over the course of the years. And that's one thing you really want to have, is an advocate, somebody who can really advocate for you at your doctor's office. And it's crazy. Most people just think they need that with their insurance company.
Right. Yeah, take your magnesium book with you.
That's right. Then take our products with you.
Right, right.
If you're going to the doctor, take our products with you and say, this is what I'm using and this is how it's working for me. Yeah.
Right. And like I said, they're all low potency. They're very basic, clean dietary supplements. We've never heard a doctor say, "Oh, that's terrible. Don't take that." We've
Yeah.
never heard that.
No,
Right.
no, that would not happen.
And you're educating your doctor. Some doctors don't want to hear anything like that, though. Here's a customer email. We have a section about what our customers are saying. And Jeff says, I want to thank Dr. Dean for saying on a recent Monday Zoom that we should all make sure to chew our food. I greatly appreciate her stating the obvious and with the passion that she expressed it. I did not chew my food enough, and I have read up on the internet how to best chew food, put your fork down between bites, etc. I feel my bowel movements are better over the past week, and also I seem to have less leaky gut. So I encourage Dr. Dean to continue to reinforce the obvious but simple, good lifestyle choices on her weekly broadcasts. I greatly appreciate her advice. I'm an advocate of our magnesium, our silver, and our zinc. I can't say the names, Jeff, but isn't that awesome?
Yeah, that's fantastic. Fantastic.
So to thank Jeff, or thanks to Jeff, I guess I should say, we're starting a new segment on our podcast, Ginny. What will we call it? Helpful hacks. Now, I've never used the word hacks before on our show. You know that.
Yeah, I do know that.
But I don't mind it. I mean, so we're going to have helpful hacks. And here's a cosmetic tip, Ginny.
Okay.
So I think men get less wrinkles because they're scraping and exfoliating their face every day when they shave.
Okay.
So many years ago, I started using facial exfoliating scrubs, and going a step further, I add ground coffee grains. So I scrub my face. There's some clay in there, and I put my magnesium, my zinc and copper, and I scrub it over my face for a few minutes, and I leave it on as a mask while I'm doing my exercises. And after I wash it off, before I put on a face cream, I will put the liquid zinc plus copper. I'll just pour a little in my hand, maybe half a teaspoon, and just pat my face. And then I'll put my face cream on.
Okay.
And what you do with your face cream. And Ginny, do we still have our serum?
Yes, of course. We're new. Yeah. Yeah, we do.
Which I use. So I have my face serum. I put it on this hand, the back of this hand, put it there, and then I put it over my face, and then I do the other side, and then I do this, so that the backs of my hands are staying as young as my face. So
That's
isn't that
fantastic.
fun? Have
That
you
is
heard all
very
that, Cindy?
And what and do we want to tell everybody how amazingly young you are?
Oh, right. Jenny,
I know.
next month I'm going to be 76, which I don't believe. I don't for
I
a
don't
minute.
believe it either. So I'm with you. I'm with you. Okay, so helpful hacks.
Thank you, Jeff.
Yeah, helpful hacks. And we'll let Elena, our social media gal, know so she can get those out. Zoom. And share
That's
with everybody.
Yeah. Okay, are we ready for my articles? And now we'll start the show. How about we start the show?
Let me check and see if we have any questions real quick.
Okay.
I want to mention that our very dear Sarah Ellis is running the chat line for us tonight. Melody Rose is on vacation, much deserved. Julie Dickey's here with us this evening, Carolyn. So she's by to say hello and checking in. Everybody else is just saying hello. So we will press on if we don't get any. Everybody says they love the helpful hacks, Carolyn. So that's a good idea. Okay. And if we don't have any questions, we shall press on.
So the next or the first big topic is from the AARP. What's that? The aging people? I don't even know what. I mean, they keep trying to make me
American Association of Retired Persons.
Well, I'm not retired, so forget about it. But anyway, they write this whiny article about where can I find a doctor who will help me. So yeah, the statistics are pretty grim. Apparently, a new patient visit can take a month. 22% of patients 65 and older had to wait 6 or more days for an appointment, and 70 million people are on Medicare. It's a rapidly growing crisis that there aren't enough doctors. So, isn't this interesting?
Mm.
Private practice is on the brink of collapse, all due to an astonishing combination of professional mishaps, failed policies, and an aging population. The US population is facing an unprecedented shortage of physicians, putting us all at increased risk. So, fear, fear, fear. This is fear porn. And I say, is that really true? Because actually, there are several studies that show whenever there has been a doctor strike, fewer people die. And it's because they do less procedures. It's kind of basic, but also a fair number of doctors are leaving, patients are leaving their allopathic doctors and going to alternative medicine doctors, naturopaths, health coaches, and nutritionists. But that's only helpful if you can afford it. And I've mentioned in blogs and probably on the show last week that a friend recently told me that a visit to her naturopath was costing $700 an hour. So that's why we always say that you really want to be on all your nutrient building blocks consistently to avoid getting ill and needing a doctor. And furthermore, the COVID years really taught people how little doctors could help them stay well. Remember, doctors were instructed to say, well, we don't have any treatment for COVID. You have to go home, and if you get really sick,
Right.
come into the hospital, and then we'll intubate you. So with a respirator. So it just left a bad taste in people's mouths. And also the HMO clinics, I rail about that too. Doctors are no longer their own boss. They're beholden to whoever's paying their salary. And then there's the heavy hand of insurance companies dictating what doctors can and cannot do for their patients. 2 weeks ago, I talked about doctors just following a recipe when they treat patients, because according to the system that's in place, the recipe has to include drugs. So for this article, doctors spoke off the record for fear of getting fired from their corporate entities. I mean, seriously,
Wow.
I went into medicine because I needed to be an independent professional. I
Right.
couldn't stand to work for anybody else. And now these poor doctors, they're in fear of being fired if they say something or do something that's not the standard practice of medicine. And then someone says it's all about the money. Of course it is. And 2024 JAMA article reported that 61% of doctors surveyed found private practice equity ownership unfavorable for healthcare. So it didn't become it wasn't about health outcomes. It just became about how much money the HMO was making. And then there's the paperwork. So it just goes on and on and on. You can look up that article if you want. There's something about RVUs, relative value units, used by Medicare and insurance companies to determine how much a physician should be paid for their services based on time spent. Another clog in the wheel is that the billing codes that doctors have to use are owned by the AMA, and they don't include nutrition or dietary supplements. I wrote about this in Death by Modern Medicine. And doctors are under constant surveillance. In Canada, where I practiced for 14 years, I was audited by Revenue Canada for being a low-income doctor. I was I was audited because I didn't make as much money as the standard, because I was spending too much time with my patients. So there you go. Rather than rewarding excellence and health outcomes, you're rewarded for procedures and volume. So that's what your doctor is up against, folks. And
Now,
that's where you have to be in charge.
Now, do you think that's going to continue, Carolyn? Because they're already talking about how to use AI to automate these processes so that they do have to focus on outcomes and better performance for the patients. Do you think that might happen?
Sure, sure. It's definitely going to happen, but AI is going to be programmed with drugs and surgery, right?
You're not going to get better outcomes with drugs and surgery, right? I mean,
Yeah,
that's not going to happen. So
well,
when that when
it,
that consistently shows it's not going to work, don't you think they'll end up bringing something else in to help elevate the outcome? No.
no, no. It's up to the individual and the few doctors or dietary supplement companies that understand the problem and then and kind of fight the bureaucracy of it all and um, keep the information common sense and unbiased, and also make available dietary supplements that are going to help a person. But I don't have much hope for dietary supplements either, because most of the supplements I used to take decades ago, those companies have been bought up by,
Yeah.
Nestle and
Yeah.
they've been
Clorox.
Clorox, yeah. They have been bought up, and now those companies are traded on the stock market, and everything's about lowering the costs and, making things as cheap as possible for their shareholders. So no, nothing's going to change. The awareness is going to change so that people will start making their own choices, but then, they'll run to the internet and the influencers and, hear things like, well, I ate 16 bananas a day for a month and look how healthy I am, like some 20-year-old, not knowing that they're probably pre-diabetic already. So,
Oh my gosh.
yeah,
Okay.
yeah, no hope, Ginny, except with us.
Okay, very good. Very good.
Okay, any questions before I press on?
No, I think we're good. We're just skedaddling along.
Right. Actually, I wanted to give some words about orthomolecular news service press release. I'm in that group. I'm on the board, and we have a website, orthomolecular.org.
Okay.
Orthomolecular.org. You look under resources and then press releases, and we are doing a great job of putting really dense articles up there. The February 5th one was the top vitamin D publications. February 3rd, science demands questions, the danger of silencing jab critics. Not going to say the word.
Okay.
January 31st, it's not about politics, it's about reclaiming health with common sense. There you go. January 27th, orthomolecular nutrition immunity, on and on. I mean, every few days there's another big article. And I kind of fight with them a little bit, saying you high dose dietary supplements may work, but what about picometer sized stabilized ions of minerals? And it's like I'm trying to sell something to them, so I'm too commercial for them. They're the scientists, and that's kind of, it irks me, because nobody else has come up with picometer size stabilized mineral ions.
Correct.
Nobody else. So who's going to talk about it but
Correct.
me?
Correct.
So it's a source of information. There's so much good information out there, but you do have to look at it through the lens of what's available in terms of the picometer magnesium, and that you need enough for 80% of your metabolic functions. So you have to be able to take a lot of it and not get the laxative effect. And one of the articles in the orthomolecular press release talked about how we we look at things in the microscopic view, which I think is more like allopathic medicine, or the holistic view. And
Mm,
that's what we're doing. We're not trying to drill down to, and I find it fascinating when you look at, oh, this is how the mitochondria works and what happens if we do this and do that. But at the end of the day, that doesn't, it doesn't give a person, uh, it doesn't put in their hand what they can actually do. There are a lot of uh, influencers, I guess you'd say, that have a lot of words to say, but they don't help heal. So I'll just keep
that's a
saying
good
all day
point.
and every day, and so will you, Jenny, that we have the answers.
Yeah. Well, that's a good point. I think that is a very good point. Hacker and healer, even they sound different.
Mm,
Somebody who really brings the essence of repair and health back into the body and
right,
stability.
right,
So I do agree with you. And the biohackers are really seem to be after the experience of hacking and experimentation and that kind of thing. And but they don't necessarily come up with, like you say, the implementation of the system that really allows the body to be optimal. And that's what we're doing.
right. Right. I think next week I'm going to go into a lot of interactions with different nutrients because I think that's what a lot of everybody is missing. Because you know, our hacker Matt, um,
Yes.
he'll take one nutrient and just go gonzo on it,
Yeah.
and then say, "Oh my gosh, it was amazing the first week, and the second week, well, not so much. Third week, it almost killed me."
Yes.
And that's what they say all the time. They seem to take the medical approach of one thing at a time, not realizing it's a whole picture. Now, the whole picture people, they can be the diet people who'll say you have to have a whole food diet, and mostly it's the vegans. And vegans and vegetarians, that's I've said many times, they only comprise 4% of the North American population. 4%.
Right.
Yet they get all this
Right.
airplay about how, well, you have to be a vegetarian to be healthy. Now, if a vegetarian vegan diet was making people completely healthy and happy, we'd have a ton of them, and we don't. So you have to be wary of people. Like I said, they do something, they say, "Oh my gosh, I feel great." Now you feel great on a vegan diet for the first while because it's a detox diet. You're getting rid of a lot of whatever. And
But
and
according to the carnivore people, Carolyn, you're introducing a lot of plant poisons.
yeah, 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 yeah,
Right? Right.
yeah,
So now you're poisoning yourself with plants. That's
yeah.
so fun.
Yeah, it is crazy, and we had a good interview with my foster daughter a few years ago. Who I don't know if she was rebelling or what, because I'm certainly not a vegan vegetarian. So she went vegan vegetarian and stuck with it for a long time until her teeth started falling out because she didn't have enough protein to hold her teeth in place. So I mean, everybody has to sort of find their own way, but when we are kind of addicted to social media and a bit brainwashed by people who, look like they know what they're talking about, and we follow what they say but aren't listening to ourselves, that's where we run into
Oh,
trouble.
very good. Yeah,
Mhm.
very good. Very good. Well, I'll tell you one great evidence of what our formulas do is our very dear friend Newman McClellan, who's been with us forever. He is turning 90. And he's been on our formulas for 12 years, Carolyn, and he's
Oh,
fantastic. He's got so much zip in his step, and he's just incredibly healthy.
oh, that's
And
wonderful.
so I just, I congratulate Newman, but that is the evidence of what you're recommending. It's fantastic.
Right. And is Newman still going into work and amazing his coworkers?
I'm sure he is. I'm sure he is. I haven't heard any differently. I'm sure he is.
Yeah.
I think he
Yeah.
has all the entire insurance company ready to buy into our product line.
Right. And that's another thing. We have to stay active and have goals in
Yeah,
order to, wake up every morning with a goal in mind. And retirement, sometimes it can slam a person when all they think they have waiting for them is television programs and trying to get a house on one level so that their knees don't creak when they're walking upstairs. If your knees are creaking when you're walking upstairs, figure out what you're eating wrong or what you're not taking, or if you need to exercise more, because the more we slow
right.
down, the more we rust.
Yeah.
RUST.
Oxidize.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, very good. And I mean, if we were going to talk our products, we would talk about how you could just use Remag lotion on your knees, and then that would make you feel so much better. But we don't talk about that. But if we did, we could say something like that.
Right.
That's right. Okay, what's next, Carolyn?
Insomnia.
Oh,
Insomnia, a Medscape article talked about, oh my goodness, here's a new drug for insomnia. None of the others are working, so we need a new drug. So it's something called mirtazapine or mirtazapine, and it improves insomnia symptoms short term. So short-term medication used to be defined as 2 weeks. And this is what I'm saying. I mean, short term means 2 weeks. So
yeah.
what they did is a study with this mirtazapine, and I think they compared it to other medications. And seriously, it's not even a sleeping pill; it's an antidepressant that I guess they're trying to repurpose.
Wow.
So it shows a clinically relevant effect in reducing the severity of insomnia. It doesn't say it cures it. Reduces the severity at 6 weeks, but not at 12 weeks or beyond.
Oh,
So
wow.
the researchers on this study said that it was generally well tolerated, but side effects and discontinuation of the treatment were more common in the mirtazapine group than in the placebo group. And it goes on. So they spend, their millions of dollars on this study to get a maybe that it helps, but don't use it more than 6 weeks. And if people have insomnia problems, I mean, maybe some are short lived, but I haven't heard that. You want to work with something like a picometer magnesium that helps calm your muscles, calm your nervous system, and allows you to fall into a deep sleep.
Right.
So
Absolutely.
this is what I come across all the time. Oh, well, let's try this drug and let's just force it on the market
Mhm.
and pretend that it's going to do something.
Mhm.
And there are plenty of doctors. Okay, what will happen is the clinic that the doctors are working for will invite drug companies into their lunch meetings, and they'll leave samples of their drugs, and then the doctors will,
Mhm.
give them out like their Mother Teresa. And then if it works a little bit, then they'll write a prescription the next time. So it's it's so commercialized. It really drives me crazy. Can I go on, Ginny?
You may, of course. Yes.
Okay, we've got MASH, MASH. This is metabolic dysfunction associated steatohepatitis.
Oh, wow.
Oh, yeah, it's fatty liver
I was
disease.
gonna say, isn't that fatty liver?
Yeah, but they try to give it, they hype up this
Wow.
name, and they rename things every few years just to
Wow.
dodge and weave. And this paper's from the Cleveland Clinic website, and they're saying, yes, it used to be called non-alcoholic fatty liver disease. And I'm saying, according to Dr. Robert Lustig, a pediatric endocrinologist at UCSF, University of California, San Francisco, he said that when the public was given a high fructose corn syrup sweetened foods and beverages, mostly all the sodas, then they started developing these fatty livers because it's a fructose sweetener, high fructose corn syrup. Fructose has to be metabolized in the liver, so it's going to increase the fat in the liver cells. And it just gets to a point where you've got a disease. Because if you've got all that concentrated fat, then the liver's not able to perform its other many duties.
Right. Have you ever seen, well, you have, of course, because you're a doctor, but if you ever look at fatty liver on the uh, internet, just look at one. It looks like a piece of marbled steak. It's so gross, right?
Mhm.
I
Yeah.
mean, all this like big hanging wax of fat on your liver, and it's not supposed to look like that.
Yeah. Yeah. Now, the other thing about the high fructose corn syrup, um, corn in the US is mostly GMO.
Uh,
So the sugar not only has fructose that isn't metabolized anywhere but in the liver, and it uses twice the amount of magnesium as sucrose or glucose, so it uses up a lot of magnesium, which is very interesting. It's genetically engineered, and it's metabolized actually into triglycerides that are stored in the liver. So you'll get high triglycerides if you're just drinking these sweetened beverages.
right, right.
So yeah, what are these clown scientists doing about it? Are they telling people to stop high fructose corn syrup and cut back on fruit juice and excessive fruit intake? No, they're doing research on an investigational drug
Oh,
called efruxifermin,
oh dear.
which apparently significantly improved fibrosis, the end stage of fatty liver, without worsening the MASH symptoms at 96 weeks. And they did it against placebo. But I mean, seriously, Jenny, just look at the name efruxifermin. It's got the root word of fruit in it and fermentation in it. You
Right,
make alcohol from fruit, and alcohol causes fatty liver.
right. Wow.
So, MASH, it's an inflammatory condition of your liver caused by storing excess fat in the liver and leading to progressive liver damage. It
Wow.
resembles hepatitis caused by alcohol use, but it stems from something else. It's most often associated with overweight, high blood lipids, and high blood sugar. Um, but does the esteemed Cleveland Clinic say that these things cause MASH on their website? They say they don't know what causes fatty liver.
Oh
We
my gosh.
It's iatrogenic. What they
Oh, wow.
suspect, they say the word suspect, it has something to do with the fat levels in your blood, although not every case seems to fit this profile. But they go on to say that there's a definite pattern of related risk factors. They're all about the risk factors because if they can find a risk factor they can treat with a drug,
Yeah.
then they're in the money. So they say, what's the risk factors? And I say it's magnesium deficiency in diet indiscretion. But they're talking about, if you're overweight, if you have metabolic syndrome, high cholesterol, high blood pressure, high blood sugar, insulin resistance and diabetes, and underactive thyroid. So there, you can go on your Ozempic, you can go on your cholesterol statins, you can go on your blood pressure diuretics and calcium channel blockers, which are really,
Mm,
you
mm,
need
mm.
magnesium. You can treat metformin for the high blood sugar and your insulin resistance, and yeah, you can give your thyroid medications for an underactive thyroid. Nothing is said about the high fructose corn syrup. It's crazy. So people create these diseases with their ultra processed diet, and then you've got this list of conditions that are treated with medication. So there.
I know that in the past, Carolyn, we've talked about how fatty liver a lot of times can be resolved with keto and just getting off the carbs altogether. And I just want to say we're almost to the top of the hour, but I want to share this comment. One of the things about keto, and you recommend also, is intermittent fasting. Now, Russ has gone to a whole different level. What he's saying basically is, I just finished a 21-day fast using Dr. Dean's minerals. It was fantastic. No solid food, just the picometer minerals for 3 weeks. I would love to share my experience with Dr. Dean. How can I email her? And of course, Russ, all you have to do is just email her at questions, questions, at drcarolyndean.com. It's right here on the screen. Questions at drcarolyndean.com. And one of our trusty staff will take that very personal comment and send it directly to her, and she'll get it and correspond with you. Okay. So again, questions at drcarolyndean.com. But isn't that fantastic? 3 weeks of mineral fasting, Carolyn.
Yeah, that's awesome. We've talked about that before with intermittent fasting. Keep up your minerals in the morning. If you do a 3-day fast, you can take all our formulas actually and not interfere with the fast. And fasting is really helpful for people. But I mean, you have to, I guess, in a sense, be healthy enough to fast for 21 days. But it'll be great to hear from Russ, and then we can talk about it on the show.
Okay, that's fantastic. He says he's got it all charted out. So that's fantastic.
Wow.
So just a few minutes to the top of the show, Carolyn, a couple things we want to say as part of our wrap up is how people can find you, because finding you is the most important thing. So of course, we're glad you joined us tonight. drcarolyndean.com, Dr. Carolyn Dean's website, is an incredible resource that you can go to get all of her books, her information, blogs, history, her CVV, her background, everything, even pictures of her when she was in her 20s. It's so cute. She's all over that website, and we would love to have you visit there. And also you can go to rnareset.com, which is Dr. Dean's product website. But if you go to drcarolyndean.com at the top and click on it, you'll scoot over to RNA Reset if you click the shop button. A couple great things are waiting for you at drcarolyndean.com. You do get a free nutrient tracker if you join and become a member there. So we'd love to encourage you to do that. And also all Dr. Dean's Instagram and Facebook and TikTok, Body Rock, all her little social media URLs are there as well. So you can go directly in and subscribe to her social media channels where you find all kinds of other great information. So what else would you like to share tonight, Carolyn?
Oh, it's a great show. I do enjoy it, getting the information out there. And I know we're reaching more people because they can see us, which is...
That's right. Well, they can see you, which is the most important, because they can see your sincerity. I mean, that's the thing that I always love, is just to be able to see your sincerity, your quick response, and that when something's really true from your heart and it's in the core of who you are, and it's just definitely in the core of your being, there's just such a high level of authenticity there. And that's very hard to find these days anywhere. Wow. So the fact that people can find this in you, find this here, and learn how to discern and understand their health landscape and how to be supported with you and by you through the products, but even more importantly, through your sage wisdom, is very, very important these days. So anything else you want to share?
I guess we really are on our own together, and we have the common sense, the information, but you folks really have to take the formulas. You have to take your dietary supplements to keep your body healthy.
Yeah.
We get stories all the time. And yes, I'm selling the formulas. I'm selling the product.
Barely. I've reviewed our pricing lately, and you're pretty much giving them away, Carolyn. So I say you're selling, but kind of hardly, almost not at all.
Funny. So yes, it's it's hard times. It's stressful times. It's times where, we even hear about our meat being infected with the jab. Ginny sent me an article about that. So we have to stay vigilant and healthy and know that we're in charge. And you do that by every day you wake up and you feel good.
Yeah.
And you will feel good if you take the right building blocks to keep your body strong.
Yeah, absolutely. Sheila was on earlier and said you look like you're ready for Valentine's Day. You do look very beautiful.
Ooh, ooh. Yeah, Valentine's, of course. Oh, tomorrow is the market. Yeah, I do the farmers market every Tuesday, and I'm going to wear a long red dress, and
Oh,
we're going to have fun. It's so fun to get out and I volunteer at the farmers market at the same time as I, financially support the whole farm.
that's right.
So, yeah, I'm trying to show by example. Seriously, that's
Very
what
good. Very
be
good. Well,
be the example that you want.
just for your own human experiment, I want you to take your phone and I want you to scan this QR code on the screen right now. And I want you to read this book because I'm telling you, when you see that in 2003, Carolyn had COVID all figured out, you'll realize the source of wisdom that you're interacting with on this show. And you will share this information with her wide and far because, it's incredible who you're talking to, and we're so fortunate to have her with us. So thank you, Carolyn. Very, very happy. And thank you, everybody, for being with us. And we'll be back next week with our producer, Rachel. Yay! And with our customer service team. That's right. Thank
I
you.
want, hearts are supposed to come out of my hands when I do this.
Hearts. Oh, hey, look, it came out of my hands. Oh, look at that, Carolyn.
That's the touch.
I didn't know that would happen.
That's wonderful.
That's
okay. Aloha, everybody. Do it again.
Aloha. Bye. Bye. I'll just wave this time. Bye.